Hey everybody, welcome to the Fancy Werewolf Lounge. And if you're watching on video, you probably noticed something a little different about me. Well, the thing is, I gave in to peer pressure and got my hair done professionally instead of getting it all shaved off. I thought we lived in America where we used to believe in freedom, but I guess not anymore.
Whatever, Josh. I just told you to trim your beard in the first place. I didn't even cut your hair at all, so you clearly didn't give in to peer pressure.
Okay, whatever, Stalin. All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Fancy Werewolf Lounge. I am your host, Josh Pfizer, and...
This is your girl, Liberty Bell.
Hello. What up?
And what are you guys drinking today?
I am drinking a spritzer, I would say. It's a vodka with Diet 7-Up, limes, and some fresh raspberry juice.
Okay.
It's delicious.
I got a black cherry white claw, and I might be doing pulls of Sailor Jerry's a bit later.
By the way, that's Nancy.
Al, are you clawing it up too?
You're doing the White Claw, dude?
Yeah.
No aloe today?
Yeah.
No peanut butter
I gotta
jelly?
keep it.
No.
I gotta keep it light today.
Oh, yeah? Oh.
What about you, Josh? What are you
Oh.
drinking?
I am drinking a Breckenridge Avalanche Amber Ale. So, pretty basic bro stuff. But you did hear from our guest today, comedian Nancy Persoon. How you doing? Did I get your last name right?
Yeah, actually,
Okay.
I was like, the first time we were about to say it, I'm like, oh, fuck, do I have to tell people how to pronounce my last name again?
Well, and the
Like,
thing is,
I think Josh is the only one who doesn't really know you. So good job.
yeah. And well, I mean, like, I could see how. Oh no, go ahead.
Oh, I was like, it's pronounced exactly how it's spelled, but still people want to say Pearson or do something weird with it. And
Well-
I'm just like, it's per and then that's
Yeah.
it.
Like on first sight, it kind of looks like person. Like if you don't see the second O. Like,
Well, I think that's kind of the implication, isn't it?
Oh, some people just assume that I'm just trying to be like, I'm a real life person, all right? And they're like, people would think it's a stage name, and I'm just kind of like, no, this is a name everybody knows me by. It's what I go by in real life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was just thinking like on first glance when Liberty told me you were going to be on, I was just like, I thought it read like, I'm going to ask Nancy Person to be on. I was like, who are they? What are their last name? I don't know. Quit acting like I know this person. This Nancy Person. But we do have but you're a comedian in Iowa City, or?
Yeah, I'm in Iowa City. I started here, and then I lived out in Chicago for a year, and then my living situation wasn't doing well, and I just moved back to Iowa City, and I like it here still.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a pretty cool town. We do have a clip from one of your sets, so
Yeah.
it's like a specific part of your set, but it's fantastic.
I identify non-binary. I deal with bigots a lot. Yeah, you fucking bigot. Raise your child right, you piece of shit.
I mean, I think we can all agree that infants are just generally bigots. Like read some Angela Davis, you 6-month-old.
Okay.
Get woke.
6 years old and hasn't started reading Queer Identity Theory. They can.
Yeah, really. You're giving him a whole 6 months. I'm like, as soon as you come out the vagina, you're 10 months old already.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
I've never understood that. Like, why do people say that when a baby is born, it's 1 day old? No, that baby's 10 months old already.
Jesus. Oh man.
Like,
I feel like that's gonna.
Like, my baby's 1 week old. I'm like, well, your baby's 10 months and 1 week old, right?
I feel like though
That gets in the
that
murky water right there.
yeah, I feel like that's a
Life happens at conception.
Life happens
taking
at about 18.
That is.
You're not
we-
even a human until you're 18.
we're going like
Then you're a baby.
Liberty's going hard right. Like it's like Dennis Miller right after 9/11. It's like, oh my God.
I'm just speaking the truth that everybody knows. When a baby walks out of the vagina.
Did you someone say when a baby walks out of the butt? When a baby walks out of the butt.
A baby walks out of the anus. It's 10 months old.
Oh no.
Oh God.
Oh yeah, but I was gonna say during that clip, it was an apartment show, and it was 3 shows, 3 different stories, and the first show started up an hour late. And I didn't really have, it was right before my paycheck, so I didn't have any money. And that first house had really bougie, like, wine and cheese spread and all this free beer. So me and my friends in the corner just trying to chug as much as we can. And not realizing the show started an hour late, and everybody on the first show ran their time. And I was on the second show. So I got, like, blacked out drunk. And then the second floor was a Malort distributor, which is, like, a liquor only access.
Oh no!
And everybody hates it, but I love it. So this guy's just following me around, just filling it up with more. And so when I get up on stage, I'm so shitty, blacked out, drunk, and I'm hardly telling my jokes right, and like I'm bombing completely up at that point when I tell that baby to shut up.
You tell those babies to shut up. Sorry, babies.
I don't think it's coincidence that Rush Limbaugh looks like a baby. So.
Like us comics, I feel like that's what we have to do. We have to just steal as much liquor as we can because that's usually our only payment. So get after it. The cheese is a tip. The cheese is a tip.
The booze is my payment, and the cheese is the chip. And I'm sorry that I spilt Malort on that guy's TV stand, but he said it was good. And get the rest of the bottle for me to walk home with. So I was walking through the streets after my set, just chugging Malort in the streets of Chicago.
What's the funniest or the weirdest thing you've ever gotten paid with at a comedy show?
I don't know. I guess I mean, I've been paid in booze a lot just because I'm an alcoholic and they know I'll do. But I think the worst one was one of those shows in Ottumwa. Did you guys ever do that venue or?
There's a couple different ones there. Are you talking about the Washington?
I can't remember what the hell the place was called. I was asked last second to fill in like this. That's what I am, is just the last second filler. And the person who wrote the check for it was so drunk that it was incoherent, and I had to like talk through the cashier at my
Oh my God.
I think this is what it says. Like, you can kind of see, these are my identifiers on this check. And the guy's like, this isn't the worst check I've seen. It's definitely up there.
One time I did this, actually, well, speaking of the reason you're filling in is because our friend Janice Chapman is supposed to be on today, but her sister had a heart attack. So she's staying with her family or whatever. But Janice asked me on this show, and it was a volunteer opportunity, and it was in the Cedar Rapids Public Library, and it was like a women's retreat, and it was supposed to be like this like self-care seminar for women, and it was free. Yeah, we like get there, and this woman's got like full spread. There's like Moscato filled cupcakes and like all sorts of drinks and like, all this shit. Nobody showed up. It was literally just us, and this woman worked so hard for it, and she started crying, and she's like, well, you guys can just take whatever you want from my company. So I literally got paid in stress balls, ironic, and like USB ports and pens and shit. So that was kind of cool. The merch. Yeah, free merch.
Yep.
They just open up the supply closet and just say, just rate it, whatever, we're sorry.
No, they had it like all setting out on this table for these women to take, but they never showed up. So then they were just like, oh, you guys can have it, I guess.
Oh.
But she did not give us any of the Moscato-filled cupcakes. She took like all 20 dozen cupcakes home, and I'm pretty sure she just ate them all, and she might still drunk. I don't know.
I don't know. It sounds like she was crying while eating those. That sounds like a really sad lady at the time.
I know. I feel really bad for her. She was like, "You guys can just perform for me if you want to." I just looked her dead in the eyes, and I was like, I'm sorry, but no, we're not doing that. We're just but then we went to see the Penguins local showcase, and so it all worked out, and it was a good time.
But you've never done a show for one audience member before? They can be really fun.
Yeah, except for this lady was bawling her eyes out. So.
It sounds like she needed a good laugh. God
I could tell her one joke, but that was it.
It sounds like a performance art thing, like a comedian doing their regular. They're not even like a Tim and Eric comedian. They're like a mainstream comedian or something. But there's just one audience member in a empty theater, and that audience member is crying. Like that sounds like a brilliant. I think I'm gonna do that.
Like I literally was just waiting for Ashton Kutcher to show up, like punked or something.
Very current reference.
I mean,
well, you know, he is originally Cedar Rapids, so
that's true.
Nancy,
usually we start out these things by asking a few questions. One, how are you keeping emotionally and psychologically and physically healthy during these times?
Okay, first off, physically healthy, you can fuck off. Like, I don't care.
Okay.
I just got done smoking a cigarette and I'm drinking a White Claw. I woke up at like 3. All right, so this is part of my day.
Yeah, you said in the group chat. Yeah, I'll be in a minute. I got to go to get some smoke. So yeah, I kind of figured like that was it.
Well, you know, I threw on my mask and I threw on my slippers, and that gas station right around the corner knows me pretty well. So it's just kind of like, I don't know. I was just like, yeah, I don't know. I guess I'm going to do this podcast I agreed to yesterday. I'm not exactly sure what's going on with it, but I'm getting booze and cigarettes for it. All right? Like,
which I feel is the correct combination for this show. But what about the other? What about, just trying to stay sane?
I mean, I told you that I learned a little video editing. I did shoot a sketch, but too long, and I still need to edit it down. And that was like a month ago, and I just never touched it again. It went all right at the Zoom open mic. I showed it that, but they're just like, yeah, it's a little long and stuff. And then I've been learning video game speedrun stuff.
Well, I guess that leads into the other question we asked is like, what entertainment are you consuming right now?
I rewatched through King of the Hill, Gravity Falls. God, I rewatched all the bad Simpsons seasons, like season.
Like season what, 15 on or?
I generally cut it off about 13, or what I still consider good seasons, even though a lot of people cut it off at 9. But yeah, I watched all those, and I'm just like, there's some weird noticing trends I'm noticing in these later seasons, but also, why am I doing this to myself?
Well, yeah, and also like Disney Plus doesn't have it in the correct aspect ratio, and that kind of bugs me watching The Simpsons. Like that, I'm a pedant.
It would bug you, Josh. It would bug you.
It does, and it does. But yeah, like I mean, speaking of Simpsons, like the news out of that is they're now going to they're not going to have white actors play people of color on the show. And my reaction to that was, people don't watch The Simpsons anymore. Like, I don't think anybody really cares. Like, no, seriously. Even when like that Apu stuff happened, I was just like, why is everybody getting angry at this guy for pointing out that Apu might be a little racist when you haven't watched the show in 10 years? Like, I don't understand. Like, they're not going to get rid of the episodes with Apu in it because that's the only episodes that with Hank Azaria as Apu in it, because those are the only episodes that people will watch because nobody gives a shit about The Simpsons anymore. It hasn't been funny for a long time. That's it. That's my rant about people who are like hate that The Simpsons would do that. But like, yeah.
Oh, my thing on that is that the documentary about Apu is actually just talking about how all the stereotypes are kind of more the problem, and yeah, how white guy voices him. But the main problem is that this is our only representation.
Yeah.
Really, this is the only thing that people associate with. So then when like they got out, like, oh, this asshole wanted it removed, and he's like, I wasn't telling them to remove it. I was just stating problems with it. And then everybody blames him for it. And it's like, no, I wasn't asking them to remove him even. I was just saying there are problems, and we should at least acknowledge them and talk about them out loud, rather than just being like, aha, those goddamn libs got rid of their only Indian character.
Well,
cancel culture.
Yeah, I remember, like, I know Hank Azaria came out and said, yeah, I don't think it's a good idea for me to do that anymore. I listened to it and, like, the arguments, and I was like, yeah, they're right. But that was also, like, a year after the documentaries, which I found weird. But, you know, Hank Azaria still, like, did that. It's not like he's not going to be on the... He has, like, 5 other characters on The Simpsons.
It's him and Harry Shearer, like, voice half the secondary character. Like,
exactly.
I know. Isn't it fun when you talk about Simpson with me? People at bars love it.
I don't know. I
literally that was the only TV show we were allowed to watch as children. So
that was the only thing you were allowed to. I keep hearing the opposite. I keep hearing like kids not being able to watch The Simpsons back in the day. Like I know a few of them. And like now looking back at it, it's just like, wow, this is a kind of milquetoast critique of the atomic. Or maybe it's because like Simpsons is so iconic now that a lot of shows are trying to do more with that, like Bob's Burgers or whatever, with that kind of formula.
It pushed boundaries for the time, and that's the reason why people were like, oh my god, like, you know, George W. Bush and Barbara Bush like went on a rant.
You mean George H.W. Bush?
H.W. My bad. Out there just like, oh, the Simpsons are what's wrong with America, and that's what we. And it's just like you watch it, and you're like, no, they're pretty like bland.
Yeah,
out the physical abuse.
Yeah. South Park killed the Simpsons, I think, as far as that shit goes. South Park just went so hard that.
I think more that did that. Well, yeah, I think so, because most adult animated shows had to keep pushing the boundaries to a point where I kind of find a lot of adult animated stuff a little boring, because it's just like, how edgy can we be? Is this like, I mean, is it funny? Like, first off, is it
South Park is hilarious to me. I don't think. I think they rarely ever miss South Park, because it's always something. I don't know. It's always a little twist, and I think it's always pretty funny.
I stopped watching a few years ago because I thought it was like trying too hard to be edgy. I don't know.
Well, my thing against South Park is that Matt and Trey's politics are weird. That basically they never really make a stance on anything. They just say, "Isn't it stupid if you believe in anything?" And that's usually politically. And that's
you can always tell one who gets too into South Park and it becomes their mental attitude about life in general.
No, you're absolutely right. That's 100%. I keep hearing people, like, when they talk about electoral politics, you know, oh, you're just voting for a dick or like, was it a dick or an asshole? And it's just like, that's a very, like, there's a lot of problems with electoral politics, but that is an incredibly simplistic way to put it, to like think about that kind of stuff.
Oh my god, people who watch South Park are being glib? Fucking new.
I watch it. I just don't identify with it, and that's the problem I think people have with pretty much everything. They start to identify with their stuff, and
I keep up with it still too, but I also kept up with The Simpsons even during their shitty years, so that just means I'm just addicted to
Me too.
TV.
Yep. That's pretty much what it is. Yep.
I used to be
there's also the age of belief. Like you can just believe whatever the fuck
Yeah.
you want.
I used to be the kind of person who would want to watch a TV show in its entirety. I stopped doing that when there are like 13 fucking seasons of Supernatural, and I just wanted it to be over. I want to have the collective in my mind. I don't want to like keep watching the show anymore and getting no joy out of it.
But who makes you watch it?
Yeah. No, I stopped watching a while ago. That's the thing. Like, yeah.
Well, I was gonna say, did you ever watch anime? Because it sounds like you've never experienced anime before. Because you really like it.
I don't. I'm not a big anime guy. I like the. I think I like the basic. I like Cowboy Bebop, which is perfect for me because that only was like one season, and a movie. I like Akira. I like. Actually, I don't think there's much else in anime that I like.
So in Jumps, how it is that they get you in the first like 100, 150 episodes, and then it goes on to like 800, and you hate all the rest, but you're like, I have to see how this ends, and then they keep on dragging it out. Like, I'm like, if you complain about Supernatural, you need to start watching anime and understand the pain of that.
I don't want to. You just described something I hate. That sounds terrible. What are you doing?
Oh no, it's awful.
Why are you suggesting pain?
I don't know. It's an experience. Life is a highway, and I'm gonna ride it all night long. You know?
Can I get on the biscuit train with gravy wheels?
That's the best song that matches my shirt that I'm wearing right now.
What's your shirt, Ella?
It's my Hawaiian shirt. I posted on Facebook about it. I had some decisions, and a few people voted, and I ended up getting all of them. I got all three of them like an idiot. This one is the smaller one. This one's a size smaller, which I got it. They might be too big, but it's too small, so I'm going to send it back after I wear it on this podcast. And then the other ones are coming tomorrow.
No, we're only seeing the shoulders, though, dude. Like, you can...
Yeah, you gotta show us the shirt.
Yeah.
You'll
gotta
see
show America what they want to see.
This is my OnlyFans page.
Link in bio.
So Nancy, tell us a little bit about your journey in comedy. Where does that start?
I mean, the first time I performed stand-up was because a bar I regulared at started doing an open mic, and I went to community college for like painting and drawing and stuff like that, and I just kind of stopped painting and drawing, and I was just like, I don't know, it's because I don't have deadlines. And then like they're like, hey, we do this every week, and I'm, well, that forces me to write every week. That's some kind of artistic output. Yeah. So then I started doing it, and that's just kind of always my mentality is that, I don't know, it's an art form that you have you have deadlines that you can set for yourself that are very visual.
Right. Where was that open mic then?
It was at the Deadwood in Iowa City, okay, which I still drink to every day. And that open mic did not last very long because it is not the right venue for an open mic.
What do you mean?
Oh, it's a larger space and a bunch of drunk regulars there that aren't there to see comedy. So nobody would listen, but they did listen to my first full sets just because they're like, yeah, you drink here every day. Fucking, we'll be supportive of you. But like anybody else, there's like, yeah, this can fuck off and we're just going to talk like we normally do at a bar.
We talk sometimes about like, kind of like venues that have had open mics that really shouldn't have. Like we sometimes talk about like a venue being too small, but like too big is also a problem as well. Like, you know, I've even done open mics where there's video games playing. So it's yeah. So it's yeah. But what would you describe as your style, or like your comedians that influence you, or like what would you?
Honestly, I've gotten that question. Generally, I say TV influenced my writing more than stand-up did. But if anybody ever wants to point towards a comedian, I remember watching Reggie Watts videos in high school
Yeah.
and being like, I find this guy funny and I associate with what he's like talking about and how it's kind of nonsensical, even though, I don't know, meh. Like, I don't feel like I do that quite as justice. I write a lot of misdirects and callbacks and stuff like that, and then one-liners and ones that I act antagonistic towards the crowd, like that clip. Like Alo's seen me plenty of times down at the yacht club open like that. So it's like I just walk up to the person in the front and I'm just like, I'm gonna ask you questions. It doesn't really matter how you do them, but you have to answer these questions, and I'm just gonna make a joke off of this.
How does that work for you? The being antagonistic to the audience, like is there like a secret to it that like you don't alienate them enough to like somehow you got to get, because that's part of the comedy is getting the audience on your side enough for you to.
I think part of it is making sure that it's well aware that everybody's in on the joke, that you're not actually like I used to have this. God, I have gotten a few threats after shows.
That's not funny. I'm sorry, but
no. It's
just
I
speaks to humanity.
definitely had times before where somebody's like, yeah, I thought you were funny, but why'd you only pick on me? And I'm like, I don't know, because you sat in the front and I didn't know you. That's usually what I do when I go up to the show and the front row, and I'm like, do I know, is there somebody I don't know up there? Yeah, you. All right, I'm just going to talk at you for like this entire set.
If you don't want people, if you don't want to the risk of being part of crowd work, don't be in the front row. Like that's just comedy audience 101.
You gotta go. Yeah, try to go a couple rows back. So I don't like when people are scared and the front row is empty.
Yeah,
that's why people
not
the scared. It's like
it's like
a blast radius sometimes.
Yeah.
Well, the last couple weeks when our
Don't
bar
censor Nancy, okay?
I wouldn't even try.
If I'm gonna start having to go on, George Carlin said.
Well, okay, I will say like quickly. I don't think a clip has gone around of Carlin on Larry King talking about Andrew Dice Clay and how Andrew Dice Clay kind of isn't funny or whatever, or he's just like being a dick, and this like people won't acknowledge that part of George Carlin.
Nor do they ever acknowledge the time where he had a special that he was going to release. And he made a joke about crashing planes into buildings, and then 9/11 happened the day before the special was supposed to be released, and he just cut the special altogether. Like, he actually understood a time and place to talk about stuff. And usually the people who quote Carlin are edgelord shitheads that are just like, I can do whatever I want. I'm just like, have you actually paid attention to George Carlin? He knew a time and place, and he also knew that it's like you have to be poignant and you have to stand by what you say, and what you're just saying is generally racist, transphobic, homophobic shit, and you just don't want to own up towards it. The other line that they always say is it's satire, and you don't get it. And I'm like, well, then you're really bad at satire. Just sound like you just said a bunch of bigoted stuff, and you weren't doing it from a point that critiques that.
I'm convinced people who keep using Carlin as a defense for that have only listened to his joke about rape jokes. Like, that's the only Carlin they've listened to. Like, I have Class Clown on vinyl, and it's mostly just him being goofy as fuck. He's just like talking about how he talks about what he would do as a class, like raspberries and farts under the armpit and stuff like that. Like, he's not like the edgy asshole that people think he is.
I don't know. They just found a few quotes and they quote it forever. I'm sorry. I've had this edgelord talk too many times. They've been edgelords and shit.
I honestly blame memes a little bit. I blame memes for people thinking, and also for people thinking that they're funny when they're not. I don't know. But
is the feedback coming from me, or is that because Nancy doesn't have headphones in?
I think a little bit. I think it's Nancy. Sorry.
Yeah, it's me. Do I need to turn down it a little bit?
Well, you need to be able
Turn
to
your
hear
radio
it.
down.
Get off my lawn.
Are you saying
No,
that
it's fine. I just
frozen? Yeah.
I thought maybe I would change my headphones because that was maybe me, but I'm gonna switch back to my other ones because I could hear you better.
Yeah,
Okay.
I was just like, I only have one pair of headphones right now that don't work because in quarantine, I'm just like, fuck it, I don't need headphones anymore.
I'm glad.
We're
glad
going
you
to
said-
send you some.
Yeah. I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you said that though, because I hate people who like are out in public and don't use headphones.
Oh yeah.
Like
The only times I need headphones are when I'm sitting at the bar and watching shit.
Well, that's because Josh is an angry old man, though.
hey, fair.
I know that's a little ageist, but I mean.
And how am I the old man? Aloe's older than me. Aloe's almost 40.
Yeah,
Do you
but
see my
he's
shirt
cool.
though? Do you
He's
see my
cool.
shirt?
Yeah.
The shirt that I'm wearing.
It means you're definitely 40.
Cool.
No,
Yeah,
it takes years off.
The shirt
No.
now.
That's
Wow.
something people going through a midlife crisis always tell themselves.
This is what people
Those
do.
are palm
They try
trees.
to attack someone else.
That's fun. That's fun and youthful. Climb up there, you get a coconut.
He's
You know?
deflecting. Josh is deflecting onto Aloe, and we will not stand for.
You're the one that's. You know what? You know what?
You look a lot younger with your haircut though.
Thank you.
That was a good
All right,
move.
thank you.
I suggested all the way bald like me, but
I wanted to do that.
guess
I wanted to do
you
that.
should have.
But somebody told me it wasn't a good idea.
There's something about scraping razor blades in your scalp that just wakes you up, you know.
And Marlon Brando and
okay,
Apocalypse
Josh,
Now.
You shave your head, I'll shave my head.
Liberty,
Oh yeah,
don't you dare
definitely.
do that.
I'm gonna do that.
Don't you dare. I think that was a dare. Can I get a double dog dare?
All right, go for it.
All right. Well,
See, that's more like it. Now you know I won't do it because I think you would like if I did it. So reverse psychology. Good play, Aloe.
Just sounds like you're trying to find excuses.
So
I
Nancy,
had short for like 5 years, so don't at me, Nancy. You don't know me.
Nancy, do you host the yacht club or
Sometimes it's usually Spencer, but I host it because, well, I used to host it years ago, and then I just stopped, and now I work at Yacht Club, and so they're just kind of like, yeah, whatever, Nancy, you're hosting this week, and I don't know, and maybe I'll do it more whenever we get back, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, because you were saying that you guys opened up for a month and then reclosed, right? So what was up with that?
So because of like how shitty our governor's been about all this stuff, it was basically like forcing a lot of businesses to open back up at the start of June. If not, then they can't make their money and then they can't pay their bills.
Right.
And letting it ride out longer. And the owner of the yacht club, he also owns like the gay bar and all this other stuff. That's the reason why I get to work there, is because it's a queer establishment. But it's basically like him, the reason why he closed it back down was like he's looking at it's just like we're getting more and more cases, and every night I'm open up, despite us trying to give out free masks, everybody's refusing to do it, and I'm hearing more and more. So trying to be responsible, and we're going to close down for a little bit longer again. But you know, that's also,
well, that's sorry.
Oh no, I was just saying we'll see.
Yeah, that's this weird fucked up thing about what's going on right now. I think it wasn't a good idea to open businesses back up so soon, but also the way people are treating going into businesses. Like, I don't understand why wearing a mask is so difficult for a lot of people. Like, I was having a discussion with my barber. It may be hypocritical for me to go out and get my hair cut during this, but you know what? If
Did you wear a mask during it or not?
Not during it. But maybe I should have.
Okay, now shame. All right, I was gonna be like, no, you're fine. Now shame.
Yeah. Well, they also do.
No,
They
like, I
also
don't know.
do beard, and it's a bunch of stuff.
Did
But
the
yeah,
person cutting your hair wear a mask while they
No.
were cutting your hair?
no.
My friend's a barber, and they, like, when they first, and here's the thing, the same sort of scenario has happened where at first they had, like, a lot more PPE and they stopped doing it. But initially, the client was wearing a mask, the barber was wearing a mask, and then, you know how they put, like, a cape on you?
Yes.
They had to, like, buy disposable ponchos. So each person was wearing, like, a plastic poncho.
Yeah, I don't think mine was disposable. Well,
And they were only letting, like, one person in, one person out of the salons at the time. So, like,
yeah, this was a bit crowded. It was, and my thing right now, and maybe this isn't an attitude I should have because it perpetuates what's going on, but like if other people aren't wearing masks, sometimes at work, I try to wear a mask, but it's a very physical job, and it's sometimes I'm in areas where it's, you know, 10 degrees hotter than it is outside. So, I mean, I'm gonna do better, but like, yeah, it's sometimes it's difficult, and it's really difficult when other people around you aren't doing the same. So you're just like, well, this is for you. Me wearing a face mask is for other people. The fact that
if they're not wearing a mask around you, you're
yeah, no, that's the thing.
You know.
But I definitely, if I go out,
like if you're like at work, you're wearing a mask and no one else is around you, you're screwed because of their decision making. So at that point, like just for your own like ability to breathe or whatever in the environment you work in, I probably wouldn't fucking wear one either because what?
Yeah.
Maybe reducing their risk, but clearly they don't give a fuck about you. So
yeah,
that kind of person, like, oh, all or nothing, but fuck.
Yeah.
It won't be me in 110-degree weather. They ain't trying
well, the thing, yeah. If I do go out, if I do like stop into a bar or get something to eat or whatever, I'll wear a mask for the servers, especially because they don't have they have to be there. Like that's the thing is like they are already paid very little, and they're doing like most of them are doing their best to keep other people safe. So I think it's just at the most it should be just a courtesy to other people. But yeah.
Well, it's one of those things that when a bunch of businesses just reopened in Iowa City, I talked to a few people I knew about it, and a lot of them were just kind of like, well, whatever, I'm not going to die from it. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, there are lower chances for us at our age to die from it, even like us getting it's lower. But the idea is that's about community health. So that's where I'm like, I don't know. That's generally where I try to tell people, I'm like, it's not about you personally. It's about everybody around you. And it's about the idea that I'm probably not going to die from it, but I could give it to somebody who then they would die from it. And
not only that, you have to think about outlying loved ones. Like, okay, their mothers, their fathers. Like, I don't know how old your parents are, but my parents are, you know, my dad's 65 and my mom's almost 60. Like, they are susceptible to get this and die from this shit too. Not just the elderly. Like, and honestly, people in me and Al's age range and Josh, like in our 30s, we are just as likely to actually die from it too.
I'm sorry, what?
People in my age range are dying from this shit. Look it up, man.
Well,
we can die from it.
I'm only
especially me because I smoke cigarettes and I'm a scumbag. So. There it is,
That
America.
means
I know.
Because you're a scumbag is why you won't get it, or you'll beat it if you do get it. You have to look at it that way.
I believe Jesus did say scumbags.
Thank you, Al, for that.
Perks to being a scumbag.
Scumbags will inherit Earth. Well, that seems to be accurate right now.
We had the joke. So I've also been doing a lot of protests. Also, that group almost everybody wears masks constantly.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Actually, the only people that don't wear masks at the protests are the police.
Yeah, they're the narcs.
Well,
wearing masks. Okay, you're a narc. Get the fuck out.
The only guy I saw. Sorry, Nancy.
I was just gonna say the joke that me and my friends had was the night that we all got tear gassed and we were walking back to the bar. We were joking like, my lungs don't feel right. I don't know whether it's because I'm a chain smoker or COVID or tear gas, but something's not right there. And we all just laughed.
But it's really not funny. And then, like, I have friends that are the same way. They're like, well, I got tear gas. I guess in America, this is just a rite of passage. You know, like, that's fucking shit, man. Like, where else in the world? Nowhere else in the world would that be even a joke. It's not
People get tear gas in other places.
Like here. No, like,
oh, they get tear gas a lot worse in other places.
Are you keeping up with the protests in Hong Kong? Like,
yeah, they don't fuck around there,
yeah.
man.
Well, China is a total outlier. In China, you can only have one child. Like, come on.
I mean, like, but that's the thing is, like, all over the world, people are. Well, that's the thing is, like, people protest. Like, look at France. Like, France is the same. You know what's going on. You know, they're standing up for racial rights in America, and they're getting their shit kicked too. Like, that's the thing. It's not solely it's there are specific things that are American about it, but it's not solely an American thing. Authority is universal.
The gun issue. Like in Europe, you can't even really get your hand on a handgun, you know. But anyways.
Oh yeah.
Tear gassing should not be a rite of passage. That was the point I was trying to make.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a commonality either, but
has everyone here been tear gassed?
I haven't.
Or
I have not been tear gas. I have been pepper sprayed.
Have you, Elo?
They're pretty close.
Yeah.
It's Aloe.
Alo.
I have a joke about that. It's funny.
Yeah, I know you. That's about it.
Alo.
Alo.
Is that what you say when you get tear gas? You're like, Alo! Alo, my old friend. This is America. Tear gas me again. I love it.
Oh, yeah. That's, I don't know. Have you been tear gassed, though, Alo? It's not fun, right?
Oh, pepper spray. They ain't tear gas too, yeah.
Yeah, it's not fun.
No, it's not. It's not meant to be fun. It's meant to make you do what they want you to do, which is usually disperse.
Disperse.
What was there was a video I saw of a just recent. It might have been today that they did this or yesterday, but there was like a violin vigil for. And again, I can't even like think of the name.
Elijah McCain.
Yeah, my niece was at that.
Yeah.
That's
yeah,
awesome.
she was doing it on live, and I got on there and I was roasting the cops that were standing there, and she was reading it out loud to the cops. It was the greatest thing. I might post it in a little bit. I haven't edited it.
Good.
That's actually what happened last night.
Yeah, the situation with Elijah McCain is so unbelievably disgusting. I don't even like to think about it. But...
Is this the kid who got shot in the back? Who was a security guard at an auto parts store?
No.
It was this like 17-year-old kid who would go and play violin for all the kittens at like the animal.
Cat. He played music.
So the visual was a bunch of people.
So lonely.
So the visual was a bunch of people playing violin, and then you could watch the video of just all the police showing up in riot gear, just surrounding them while they're just sitting there in like a park playing violins and shit like that. And then start like interjecting into the crowd, and then people making a barrier to block the violin players and stuff like that. Yeah.
This is why I keep like questioning whether or not the police want us to hate them. But of course it's not they want us to hate them. They want us to fear them. That's the thing. And that's why the police want us to like think we need them and want us to respect them and want us to believe that they're like the good guys, but they keep doing shit like this. And it's just like like, this is why the dam is breaking on this whole thing, is just like, you know, police just aren't even trying to you know, calm down.
But okay, I wanted to get back to Alo talking about the fucking roasting police, because I've seen that at a few protests here, where specifically like there's this one really short guy who's always in like full deck riot gear. And people always seem to point him out. It's just like, why is nobody fucking making fun of this guy who's like 4'10" and just decked out and shit? And like the first time we saw that they were all lined up in front of the jail, and we were there, and I was in like the front line. This guy just like walks up in front of the front line, just points out. It's just like, why is nobody roasting this short motherfucker's ass right now? And even some of the police officers just started laughing, where this guy just like comes out the crowd.
He's like the Cotton Hill of the Iowa City PD.
Well, he definitely seems like one of those guys who got shit for being short in high school. Definitely has short man syndrome, and so that's why he became a cop.
Oh yeah. The other one was one time that we were down at City Hall. Somebody caught a photo of this guy in full riot gear, like hiding behind a bush. So like that photo circulated so much around all of us, because we're like, seriously, this guy's like in full riot gear, like huddled up behind a bush because he just came there to shout at them. All right, like.
I'm just thinking of a Wile E. Coyote cartoon where he's in full riot gear and just walking around in the bush like.
That's the thing. That's the thing that's most crazy about it to me, is like 9 times out of 10 when there's violence is being enacted on these people, they're not even fucking doing anything. The only thing they're doing is yelling, like you said, yelling at them. We're yelling at them.
Yep.
They can't even de-escalate that. You know, they can't. What are they doing then? You know, what are they capable of?
Oh, I guess that is how I've been staying healthy, is that I've been getting all my exercise from March. That's what that's good for. All right.
No, truly, I've been there too. Like, not this week, but the week before, I walked and marched so much that my body was like physically.
Oh yeah.
Spent. And like my friend, we got to like and Josh was there for this. He saw us. My friend Keisha asked me to pick up her son's like stroller, his buggy, and I like went to pick it up, and I was like almost physically unable to help her carry her son up this hill. And like initially, just since people are still marching in behind you, I like tried to pick it up and literally just trip. And everyone's like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm okay," but like I'm physically like experiencing serious fatigue from this shit. You know, but
that's why they tell you to take days off. Like
right.
Your days of work are just as important as your days of work.
Right.
God, I was trying to remember. There was some other one that I don't know. Now I'm just like, sorry that I got us on that topic, but I'm just sitting there like, there was something else we all kept on joking about. I don't know, because it's also like, you know, you're really serious the entire time, so it's good to crack jokes.
Right.
I guess one of the ones that is like weird during it is like when you get in the middle of the group and you hear the chant behind you and the chant in front of you not up, and you don't know what to scream out, and then you just like look at the people next to you, you just shrug your shoulders, and you're just like, I guess I'm just gonna sit out for the next 5 minutes of chanting because I can't line up with both of these shouting at me when you're in the middle of the group.
There were moments in the one we went to last Saturday, where, you know, we would get a few chants going, and then the person, you know, in the back who's you know, doing the chants with the megaphone switches it up, and everyone's just looking around and was like, you didn't get to see it. What are we supposed to say? Yeah.
This was that I took a day off, and then the next day, I guess they sat down and had sessions where they were teaching people new chants that were like more complicated in their cadence and stuff like that. So I'm like way off. So like those ones I'm just sitting off. But I was happy that they did have like, sometimes when we take an intersection over, they'd stop and like, okay, so this is how this chant goes. Everybody learn it.
Yeah,
We're gonna
what
practice.
they need to do though a little bit, because like, and I've issue where there's like, you know, people who are substantially older that are trying to march that need like a little break. Like you can stop for a second,
Oh yeah.
30 seconds
Well, I mean,
for everybody to catch back up a little bit and then go again, you know. But that's a good idea.
that's also stuff where I mean, whenever we do it downtown, my regular bar actually has out like big coolers for it, and they always just whenever March come on by this, come out and just shout, anybody who needs water or needs to use the bathroom, just come in right now. Like no questions asked. we're not gonna ID you, just run and use the bathroom and leave, you're good. And that's something that like when we actually say that, we say like, yeah, you know, this is what a community is supposed to be like. But
Yeah, it's my experience is here because I think I've participated in almost every single march that's gone down since we started marching this town. Like we're marching down the middle of Main Street and there's just fucking people on the patios drinking and having dinner and shit, and there's a lot of people who will come out of the restaurant and, you know, put a hand up or clap for us or hoot and holler, and I'm like, if you feel that way, why are you not out here with us? You know, and then also the people that just sit there and are just like so comfortable to just eat dinner and look at you almost indignantly, like, why are you doing this? You look like a fucking idiot. Like, to this crowd of people, it's that makes me sicker than anything, to be honest.
The people at the patio shout out for cheers. You shout at them like, you can be at too, and like you get a bunch of people to just start shouting stuff like that at them. And we've gotten plenty of people just to join our marches like that. That's just like they march on by and they cheer for it, and like, seriously, it's not that hard. Just come out here. And then like every once in a while, there's like, yeah, you know what? Like, I think we had one where we were marching past the Dairy Queen, and this group of like 4 young girls. I think we were shouting like "White silence is white violence" or whatever. And then it's like these 4 girls are like, yeah, you know what? We can join that, and like put all their stuff in their car and closed it up, and then just joined it, and the entire crowd just applauds for them. That's just like,
right.
Yeah.
Well, that's what it should be about. Like, if you really agree, and you know, a lot of people maybe just don't know this kind of shit's happening, but then you're right there. Just join. You know, that's the thing. Like, they need numbers. Like last night, one of my friends, Oliver, posted like people need to show up here right now in Des Moines because we just need the numbers. You know, and sometimes it really is just a numbers game. Like, you need numbers for protection.
So it's another topic, since we've been talking about this for what, like.
Well, we do have that video that Liberty sent that we could be playing a little bit of.
The Sasha Baron Cohen one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Borat's at it again. Here, I got this. There we go. God damn it. There we go. Yeah, isn't this like a good podcasting when you see me just go through every single thing before going?
Liberals, what we gotta do? Inject them with the Wuhan too. Liberals, what we gotta do? Can you hear? Liberals, what we gotta do? Inject them with the Wuhan too. Inject them with the Wuhan flu. Mask wearers, what we gotta do? Inject them with the Wuhan flu. Mask wearers, actually, shall we lock them up? Shall we lock them up like we used to? You want to lock them up like we used to do? Or do you want to inject them with the Wuhan flu? Wuhan flu, or lock them up?
Yep, that's back at it again.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's.
So Baron Cohen infiltrated a right-wing rally.
I believe they were 3 centers, but yeah.
Yeah, it's got a hint of throw the Jew down the well from Borat. I wasn't just saying like it's throw the Jew down. I'm referencing the movie.
Apparently, what happened was eventually they like caught on to him. Did you read the article?
No, I did not. I didn't.
I mean, I did.
So yeah, so they basically, what happened was he did this or whatever, and they let him go on for like quite a while, and then
Well, the video is almost 9 minutes long.
yeah, so he went on for like that whole time, and I don't know why the video cut or whatever. Like more video will be released eventually, but they basically caught on to him and like tried to like get on the stage and kind of a thing. And he had like an ambulance nearby, and the whole band just like their security stepped up and like blocked all these people from getting at him. And then they all just ran off and jumped in this ambulance and left. But then later on, Sasha came back in like a different outfit and then started interviewing people about what had happened. And they still didn't know that it was the same guy. Like,
Well, it's weird because it just seems like people who are that far gone or that far right don't understand when they're being made fun of. Like that's like like if like, and I see all these like right wingers try to be quote unquote like pretend to be quote unquote Democrats or quote unquote leftists. Like first off, they don't understand the difference between the two, and like that's one of the hilarious thing. And second of all, they're just like so over the top that you're just like, yeah, you're definitely a fake. You definitely aren't being sincere right now. We can tell because you're incredibly unsubtle about it. Yeah.
I just think it's fucking hilarious. Like,
Yeah.
I don't care. I don't care.
No, yeah, no. I'm with you. Like that's the thing. It's just like it's just weird that like Sasha Baron Cohen can keep doing that to people of that political alignment.
I actually did talk about this with the gas station attendant when I bought cigarettes before this, where I was just like, one of the videos was that Sasha Baron Cohen stuff, and then he's like, oh, I was unaware of it, and I told him about it, and he's just like, how can he keep on doing this stuff? How does nobody recognize him?
And by the way, in the video, he's dressed like an old-timey farmer. Like the only time I've ever seen that is in, sketches making fun of Hicks. Like,
yeah.
He has the backup though. He hired a real band.
Yeah. No,
he put it on. He put it on him for sure.
Yeah.
Another thing that I read that I didn't read your article just because I was reading other ones before that. It was that some of the leaders of the protests recognized it partway through and tried to run back and cut the power from him.
Yeah,
but,
that's what I'm talking about.
Like,
so much for freedom of speech.
Yeah, they had a bunch of security guards guarding the power source on it, so they couldn't.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like and then they just ran off the stage and hopped in this ambulance and got it. Like, Bandito style. I love it. I fucking love it.
Yeah, it definitely, it's one of those things because I also am thinking about this. God, I forget her fucking name because she's just another bleach blonde Republican, 22-year-old who like just goes around college campuses. But one of her videos was going around college campuses and asking people like, so you're okay with like a man in the woman's bathroom? And it's just like, this is very obvious, and you're not going to get the reaction you think you're going to. Like,
I mean, I'm fine with anyone in any bathroom. I think it's fucking stupid.
Yep.
Like, what a bunch of crap. I'm more worried about people I know or people I don't know that are criminals assaulting me than people using a fucking pisser.
I was gonna be, is this where I go on my gender neutral bathroom rants?
ooh, yes,
Sure.
please. You got one locked and loaded? Let's go.
Yeah,
It's not as if I haven't done it enough times in my life, because it's like generally, regardless of if I go into a men's bathroom or a women's bathroom, I get harassed one way or the other in them. And one of the worst times was when I went to see a Bears-Packers game with my brother, and I got surrounded by a bunch of people shouting at me. I was in the wrong bathroom, and I turned to them and said, in the women's bathroom, you want me arrested.
right.
And I had to cut my piss short and go up to the bathroom attendant, who was very nice towards me the entire game, and even his shift beer.
Aw.
I know. Isn't
Shout
that
out
great?
to that person.
But you know, mine is like, yeah, I like gender neutral bathrooms. They make me feel safe. I generally am not worried in there. And I've been at, let's see, there's a bar in Boys Town, which is the gay neighborhood in Chicago, that actually their bathroom, like, is just kind of open, and it's for whoever, and it's like right next to the dance floor. And it's just like, yeah, you walked in there, and I never heard any assaults going on there. It's just like, yeah, this is, I guess, because it's
That's
a queer
because
environment.
that doesn't happen, though.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen.
Well, the whole argument is illogical in any case. Like, what you think a man's going to put on a dress, pretend to be trans, and go in and molest kids in a busy public restroom? Like that makes, like, a lot of assaults that take place in bathrooms are by men just like being men. They see a person go in there by themselves, and they just take it's a crime of opportunity. Like, it's
Can we
fucked
not
up.
call them men? Can we just call them criminals? Because they have a criminal mindset, and they're going to do that regardless.
Well, I mean, I don't want to like say like, oh, they're not real men because they're criminals. I don't like, that's like saying.
Well, I'm not saying that they're not men, but I'm saying that regardless of their gender, they're a criminal. They're not.
Well, I mean, like, but it punctuates my point about gender and how it's illogical to think like a transgender person as opposed to a cis man, like that transgender people are more. And I probably should have used the cis men before going on about that, but also there's the people who are kind of most affected by this are like Nancy, someone non-binary, or butch lesbians. You know what I mean? Like, it's people who don't fit the gender norms, and that's I don't know what my conclusion to that was, but that's just all the.
Sorry, I was listening. I was just going to move down to my little bench outside my apartment to smoke, and then I just saw a bunch of animal shit on the ground. I was just kind of like, oh, yeah. I was like, ugh.
What kind of animal?
I don't know.
Clearly, they couldn't find the right bathroom for them. They had to poop wherever they could.
Yeah.
I mean, it kind of looks like dog, but...
We need the chart. We need the animal crap chart.
I want to know, when somebody poops, how you can identify if it was male or female poop. I think that's how we decide.
I'm sure some weirdo survivalist can. You know what I mean?
I'm just like worried I'm gonna gag again if I actually like put up the phone towards it and like, look at this shit. Please identify this in the comments. I don't know. I mean, I got a lot of rabbits, and I got some owls out here. I don't know. I live, like, my apartment's right next to a creek, so I see a bunch of ducks, and that's actually a good thing during quarantine, is I've been seeing a lot more animals out. I actually saw an otter the other day. It was great.
Oh my god, I love them.
That's utterly amazing.
Can we just go to an otter clip?
Did you hear the thing I said, Liberty? Ella,
What?
did you hear? I
Yes.
said it's utterly
Yeah.
amazing.
Did you have bad fun? Can I say it again? Did you get it?
Yeah, okay. Set me up again.
So, and I saw an otter the other day there.
That's utterly amazing.
Mm.
Did it. Even got a mug in. Yep. If I achieved nothing in my lifetime else, at least I did that.
Oh, come on.
I just want to say that last weekend for Father's Day, I went to a place for a picnic with my dad, and it was Otter Creek Lake, and there were no otters, so I'm really mad about it.
Oh.
No.
I'm so sorry you haven't alive.
My whole
Oh god.
for now.
Oh god.
Wow.
I'm
see that.
That's one of the things that I'm meant to do is pull out the dead dad card. All right. Like,
Sorry about your dad.
oh God, that's my. So I had been hosting the last couple of weeks of the open mic when it opened back up, and I'd always tell people at the start, I'm like, if you want to do your shitty quarantine jokes, go right ahead. Like, nobody should tell you not to do those. I'm just not going to accept bigotry in here. But do your shitty quarantine jokes, and I tell them mine where it's they tell you to stay 6 feet away from somebody, but with my dad, that's really easy because the only way I can get closer than 6 feet is if I'm grave robbing. That's against the law. I don't know. It's not the best, but I generally try to open that up just to like let people know they can do quarantine jokes because people try to shame each other into not doing them, and I'm like, it's an experience. Fucking do it, everybody.
Yeah, one of the best ones I saw was
That's
like
what I feel about grave robbing.
Everybody does it. Might as well. It's a universal experience. You got something you need to tell us, Aloe?
You haven't grave robbed yet? What? I thought it was 2020.
Mm-hmm.
We've all drove in what? God, I'm trying to think how far away it is towards my dad's gravesite. I think it's like 10 hours. We've all done that before, right? To just grave rob our dad for no reason. Right?
I love the for no reason part. It's like, I'm kind of bored. I'll take a road trip. Maybe stop off at like the biggest ball of string, and then I'll rob my dad's grave.
The biggest string.
This is where I'm relatable in my comedy.
I'm gonna. God. Just a whole ball of string to your dad's grave.
Yep.
Your dad, you made it. You may be dead, but here's the world's largest ball of string. It's fine.
Yeah, or like that area where there's like a bunch of backsides of Cadillacs sticking out. Like, you know what I mean? Like some kind of road, like a tourist trap. Anyway.
In Iowa, we just have the world's largest frying pan.
We do. I've never been there. Have you guys ever been there?
I have not.
What?
World's largest frying pan?
Oh, no.
I'm personally really scared to go there because I feel like if I stand in it, it's just like an opportunity to be like, for the aliens to just come eat me, you know? I'm just hot and ready, like a little Caesar's pizza.
To serve man, it's a cookbook.
It's a cookbook. It's not enough. Okay.
I just want to throw the whole butter cow in there and then fry up every single piece of in Iowa.
Oh,
that's the Iowa thing I could hear.
I
want to take down the monument for the world's largest frying pan.
I was watching a clip from Veep, and there's a woman who gave Julia Louise-Dreyfus a slab of butter shaped like the state of Iowa. I was just like, God damn it, this is what everyone thinks of us. Oh, fuck.
I mean, only in Iowa do people stand in line for hours just to get a life-size cow made of butter.
Honestly, I stopped going to the Iowa State Fair when I was like 16. I told my family I can't do this ever again. Like, I'm done with it.
Those things are exhausting. Like, it's just, God.
I had a lot of firsts there. I'm from Des Moines, so I had a lot of firsts there.
Does that include,
Like what?
did you, the butter
That's all
cow?
I'm gonna say. That's all I'm
Your
gonna say.
Fuck the butter cow, Aloe?
Fuck the butter cow.
It's butter. It might feel good. I
They're
don't know.
butter cows. You can't just have sex with butter cows. That's also criminal.
Oh, is it criminal? What if the butter
cows
cow is
have
consenting?
feelings.
It's a political statement against our Iowa oppressors. All right, like.
Love it.
It's a political statement in putting my penis in the cow's buttery butt. I am blocking carbon emissions that are destroying the ozone layer and
You have
contributing.
carbon coming out of your dick? I guess.
Yeah, carbon.
God damn it. Everything ultimately is made out of carbon. So fine. You're right, Josh.
I think your anti-global warming joke about fucking the butter cow has some legs. Work on that, honey.
Well, the cow doesn't have legs anymore because they melted because of Josh's warm dick.
Warm dick. That's a very specific.
Lukewarm dick.
Warmest not all right.
I mean, I feel like they have to have the butter cow on ice, so
Mhm.
your dick is gonna cool off because it's an appendage. It's not like your internal organs; it's an external organ. So
Right.
the butter cow will make your dick warm instead of hot, and I stand by that.
My sauteed dick. Nancy, we are getting a lot of feedback from you.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah.
Fuck. There's actually a bat. My bad.
But I did.
Am I supposed to ruin it by talking about the I did afties with a friend 2 nights ago that we stayed up until like 5 a.m. in the morning watching a Karl Marx German movie.
Wait, do you mean a movie about Karl Marx or?
Yeah.
Okay.
And Hegel and all that stuff and about the start of the revolution, but it was all in German. We're just like blacked out drunk, just sitting there just being like, yeah. You go get it. Fuck the proletariat. Like, and we're like drunk at like 4 a.m. Just like sit there screaming at this German movie. It was fun.
Speaking of movies.
I've been there.
Speaking of movies, something I just kind of wanted to, and it's probably something only I care about. But earlier this week, director Joel Schumacher died. Which a lot of nerds will know him as the guy who ruined Batman. I know him as the guy who introduced me to Batman. He did Batman Forever, Batman and Robin, but he also did Lost Boys, Falling Down, the Flatliners. I always felt like he got a bum rap because of the Batman movies that he did. And I'll be honest, they're so fucking entertaining. I'm like, the only reason I'm bringing it up right now is I want people to realize that they are not the worst kind of bad. They're actually fun as hell, like as bad movies. I don't know. I just kind of wanted to go on that rant. Also, Pride Month, he was an openly gay director in a time when that wasn't very, so.
Oh, fuck, that's why you asked me last second to be on this show, because you needed a queer person for Pride Month. I forgot.
Inaccurate. But also accurate. You caught me. No, we've been featuring different queer folks all month. So you had previously come to mind. I compiled a list of people, actually. And then Josh had said to me, well, Liberty, there's only 4 weeks in the month. And I'm like, well, there's like 12, 15 people on the list that I can think of off the top of my head. And probably most of them will not be able to. So it'll work out. And like I said, Janice's sister at 30 years old had a heart attack. And you were the first person I mentioned or messaged, and you agreed. So thank you. But it's I'm sorry if you feel that way. Truly do.
I think I was like getting drunk and playing video games at the time, and I'm just like, yeah, sure, whatever.
Which
we appreciate
is kind
you being here. And
yeah,
you're clear now.
And by the way, that is kind of the average mode for any podcast guest, is getting drunk and playing video games. So.
Oh fuck. This reminds me of. So when I was in Chicago, we only recorded 3 episodes of this, but me and a friend did a podcast that was about video game characters, their butts, and whether we lick them.
That's all it was.
I love it.
Okay. Give us a break. I need a breakdown of all 3 episodes. What were the characters and where'd you come out and whether or not you would lick their butts?
So first one we started with some Sonic characters and then went to Mario Universe.
I feel like Sonic is too easy. Like that's already a horny fandom.
That was just like the first like 5 to 10 minutes, but like yeah, it was my friend. Oh god, that also all started because me and the guy who runs it's like the comedy bar in Nevada, Iowa, a few years back, made some posts against Michelle Wolf's like a presidential roast or whatever that's called.
Yeah.
I'm
I remember that.
And then me and two of my friends just started he started saying some homophobic stuff, claiming it's not homophobic. So then we just all started offering to lick his butt. And just no matter what he say, we just bring it back to look at that sweet butt of his. And he blocked us and we were banned from ever getting booked there, which I'm like, you weren't going to book me there anyway, so who cares?
right.
So then, last year, me and my friends started talking about it again, and then we're just like, oh, fuck. Because I have weird knowledge of video game canon, especially Nintendo stuff. Let's just start doing a podcast where we just start talking about licking video game butts. And then we only did 3 episodes because like our work schedules were so out of sync, and then I'm out in Chicago, so I couldn't go over to his place anymore and get drunk and talk about licking video game characters.
Well, you can
I feel like
back up.
I feel like it only makes sense if you're getting drunk, though.
Oh yeah, it was like a lot of times there's that I would show up on like my day off at his place right before he went to work, and he worked at a brewery, and he would just have like a shit ton of beers, just lay them out, and we just crack them open and just start talking about character, and then I'd talk about the canon of them and say why I believe in this canon I would lick this character's butt or not lick this character's butt, and like you would do the same, and it was just like fun.
I want to know which character's butt you want to lick.
Yeah, like where'd you come out on that?
I'm trying to remember because we started making a list. God.
Hot or
Mario,
not, 1 to 10, most lickable booty holes.
I remember Mario was a no because he gets enough. We're like, honey, that guy. We don't need to lick it.
He's only known for having
asshole.
girlfriends. Yeah, he has Daisy, he has Peach.
Peach, we definitely would lick Peach's butt.
Oh yeah, she just seems like it like I feel like it would taste like frosting.
Her name is Peach.
Yeah. You gotta eat that ass.
You gotta eat ass all the way to the pit.
Ooh, honey. Well,
the whole Peach.
The whole Peach.
As a character, I don't think we would lick his butt. But,
Who?
Pitt. He's Angel from Kid Icarus.
Okay.
Since our third one was Ash Brothers, he's a playable character in that.
Okay.
I'm trying to remember all these.
And also, he's a child. He's a notable child.
Oh, this is also okay. So I also go to Super Smash Brothers tournaments. So before we did the Smash Brothers tournament, I posted up in all my competitive Smash Brothers Facebook groups that like I do a podcast where we talk about whether we lick video game characters' butts or not. Can you please talk about your main character and whether you lick it or not? And a bunch of people were like, seriously, this is the shittiest post I've ever seen on this page. And like, I think I got banned from one, but like it's like I actually go to competitive Smash tournaments, so I followed the Facebook pages, and I took that opportunity to ask them, and some people were really receptive, and other people were like, "What the fuck is this shit?"
They just ain't ready. They're not ready. It's 2020. It's 2020. We be talking about all the buttholes, including video game characters.
My boy, he used to be a Luigi main out of Chicago. I don't know where he lives now, but his tag was Starbase Fruit, and he's like he's openly gay in the scene, and he got in trouble at Smash and Splash, which is the tournament up at Wisconsin Dells. So like he's in just like a Luigi Speedo because he's like, yeah, when I get knocked out, I'm gonna go jump in the pool. And they asked him to throw on more clothes for the stream and shit like that. Yeah, which was kind of like, he probably would lick Luigi's butt if I remember.
I will say, like, yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Luigi seems like
What about
I would do
Yoshi?
that.
mean,
But
if we're gonna
I will
try-
interject. Smash and was it Smash and Splash?
Yeah,
Sounds
Smash
like a water sports porno.
It sounds like in someone's butthole after they had an enema.
Oh fuck!
Check please.
Always love a good check, please.
I was like, you hang out with me enough. I do bar catchphrases too often, and check please is definitely one.
Love it. Love it.
Check.
You got to do that voice too, and you have to do the check, like everything.
Check please.
It's just like, ooh, awkward.
Well, I did one of them earlier, and you were because you guys hang out with me at the bars all the time. Life is a highway is one of mine as well, where it's just like when somebody ends like a statement, you just go, well, life is a highway, and I'm gonna write it.
Oh, all right.
I've had too many phrases.
Well, Nancy, thank you for being on the show. We're gonna go ahead and wrap this up, but before we go, is there anything you want to promote? Any place people can find you?
I don't know. Meet me at the bars in Iowa City and drink with me is what I promote.
Buy me some drinks.
Yes.
International Non-Binary Day, I believe, is July 14th. And if you don't come out and buy me drinks and you're a big...
Now, see, this is the problem. This is the problem with being...
Right.
This is the problem with being a straight, white, cisgendered man. I can't guilt anybody into buying me drinks.
Oh,
it never...
It worked on the show that I guilted people into buying me drinks for International Non-Binary Day, even though it was like a month after that.
Love it. Okay.
Yeah. All right. And I'm gonna say the business of the week might as well be the yacht club. They apparently seem like they need it. I'll put a link to their website. And I think a lot of bars are doing this. Do you know if they have gift cards on their website people can buy?
They did at the start of quarantine. I'm not sure if they still do that. They probably do. I would recommend Yacht Club just because that's the big Iowa City open mic, and I work there as well. There's also a GoFundMe page it's through Studio 13 because it's owned by the same owner, and honestly, they're the same building. They actually have a stairwell that connects towards each other, and that's the gay bar in Iowa City. And because we're out of work again, the owner puts up a GoFundMe page. Also, just a personal one is go about Deadwood in Iowa City because that place has been my home forever, and they're really supportive and they're great. They're great for queer rights and they're great for Black rights as well.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll put a link in for all three of those today. And Allo Lib, you got anything you guys want to promote or anything else? Anything else you want to say?
No.
Oh, thanks for coming on, Nancy. Appreciate having me.
Thank you.
Nancy,
Yeah, I can't wait to see you in person again.
once
miss you. Miss
I might start doing open mics again once the yacht club opens back up.
Yeah, we're talking mid-July right now, and it might be end of July, but mid-July was the starting talking point, and we'll see how Iowa City's dealing with COVID by then. It's kind of what. Sorry, I've been chugging too many White Claws. It sounds like that's kind of the starting idea is like July 15th or so, and then it might be end of July. We'll see.
Okay. And people wear a goddamn mask when you go out. If you're gonna go out, wear a fucking mask. Just do it.
We have free masks at the bar. Just I can't. It was like my boss told me not to tell people that they have to wear it, but also really heavily insinuate that, hey, we have free masks, and it's just right there, and everybody would be
Right.
like, nah, I'm good.
Well,
It's like I said, if you're riding on an airplane and the masks drop down, you're going to refuse to wear those too.
Ooh, that's
Put
a good metaphor.
fucking masks on, you animals.
don't be like Future. Have your mask on. Anyway,
Alrighty.
thank you, Nancy, for being on. I'm Josh Pfizer.
I'm Liberty. Thanks, everybody, for watching.
Josh Francis.
And
Wait, Josh is your dad.
wait, what's this dynamic now?
Wait, you never heard about the show where I'm Aloe's mom and Josh is
Oh yeah, you
dad?
guys want to make. Yep.
It's gonna happen.
All right,
It's delightful.
we'll make it happen.
Got a dad unlike me.
No, you do. You
I'll
dug
be your
him up,
dad.
and he's in your.
If you need a dad, I'll be your dad.
Yeah. No, you dug him up, and he's like in like a spare room, Norman Bates style.
You can bring him to my house, and you can have a room here, and we'll be your dad.
Thank you all for
I know, that's
listening.
real love.
Thank you all for listening to the Fancy Werewolf Lounge. You don't have to go home, but you probably should stay home. Good night, everybody.